I'm Kat and welcome back to my channel. Today that you are watching this, actually the day that I'm recording this is the 15th, but the day that you're watching this is the anniversary, the 2-year anniversary of my thyroid surgery and the day that I got my thyroid taken out. And I kind of wanted to do a video talking about some things that I've noticed within the 2 years that are different. I want to talk about real things that are happening to me. Basically, I could be completely wrong, but whenever I watch a video about hypothyroidism, or I read something about it and maybe I'm just not looking deep enough into videos, it's always positive. Everything they talk about is positive things, and I rarely hear them talk about the negative things that come with it. And I really want to be someone that's honest and talk about the things that really suck about it, and also a lot of the good things. So we're just going to touch on a lot. Also, sit tight. This video is going to be long because there's a lot to talk about that comes with it, because it's been 2 years. So sit tight, relax, get a snack, and let's start talking about our thyroids, just the thyroid in general. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about does make me a little bit emotional, and I know that, and it's kind of hard for me to accept that, but I'm just going to let it flow and see what happens. If I cry, whatever. So basically, on March 16th of 2018, I actually got most of my thyroid taken out. So long story short, and I will put the whole story playlist in the description below, because I did a lot of videos about it, about, when I went to the doctor, leading up to the surgery, and then after. So I'll actually put those below. But long story short, Cliff Notes version, basically I had a cyst the size of a ping pong ball on the right side of the right side of my thyroid, and some on like half of the left. And then I also had a solid nodule underneath it, pushing it forward. The cyst had grown exponentially through the couple of years. I had it for a while, to the point where you could just see it. And one of the concerns from my doctor was that it was going to get large enough to start to push into my trachea, which was something that didn't give me anxiety at all. But he said that there's a chance it could push into my trachea, but what he was really more concerned about was the solid nodule underneath it, because typically a nodule on a thyroid it's not hard, it's like squishy, and typically if a thyroid nodule gets more hard, more solid, that could potentially mean that it's cancerous. It's a cancerous nodule. My thyroid had a lot of nodules on it, which is actually really common for women to have a lot of nodules on their thyroid, and it's really common for women to have more thyroid issues than men. So, just keep getting that shit end of the stick, right? But basically he wanted to just take it out, because instead of doing a biopsy, he just wanted to take it out and then just do the biopsy while I was under. Hey buddy, go on. You locked off my phone last time. All right. Anyway, so he wanted to take it out anyway. So I had to go through a lot leading up to surgery, saving up money. I went through a lot of stress, which took the toll of my hair and my face. In those past videos, you'll notice my hair was really long. After everything happened, I chopped it off because it was so dead due to the thyroid issue, but also because I had gone through so much stress of just going through having to get surgery and everything that was happening. So I just got it all cut off, and it's been kind of the same length because I keep getting it trimmed. I kind of like it to be long again, so that could be really fun. But so the day before surgery, I was really scared because I had never had surgery before. I was terrified. And then the next day, really fucking early in the morning, I went and got prepped and then got it taken out. So yeah, I'm not going to really go very deep into that story because it's a long one, and you can watch those videos if you're really interested in it. But it was the past couple of months after that I noticed a lot of differences, and I still continue to notice differences because basically I'm relearning my body again. I'm relearning things that my body likes, that it doesn't like. Sorry, my cat just jumped in a box. But I'm learning what my body doesn't like, what it does like, what I can eat, what I can't eat, stuff like that. I'm still learning. And what I don't think people realize is that this is a journey. This isn't something that you just learn how to deal with really quickly and then go about your day. This is a journey. You're basically learning your body every time, and this is a constant hormonal imbalance thing. Your TSH levels are rarely consistent, and if they are, I need to know your secret because I know mine aren't. But it's been a lot. It's been a journey of learning about food I can eat and my skin and having to deal with how dry it is. The chronic fatigue, which is super fun. The insomnia that comes with it, which makes it even more fun. All the vitamins I have to take. My levothyroxine and having to learn the way it feels when I take it and when I don't take it. It's been a journey, and it'll continue to be a journey. And one thing that I've had to learn, and that's some advice I will give, is you're going to watch videos of people or read stories on Pinterest or Google of people who have the same condition, and they're going to talk about the diet that they do and the exercise that they do and the way they take care of their skin. Don't listen to them. And the reason for that is because nobody's journey is the same. So all the things that I'm going to show you that I use doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Doesn't mean it's not, but everybody's body is different. So if a girl eats eggs and avocados every day, you can try that too. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you, even though an avocado is great protein and antioxidants and an egg is great iodine and protein and iron. Doesn't mean that that diet's going to work for you. So you need to figure out what works for your body and then stick to it. Don't try to apply a diet from someone else and then get mad at yourself for it not working. Figure out what works for your body and then continue to run with that. That's my PSA with that, because I remember watching videos and reading stuff on Pinterest about people and not understanding why these things weren't working for me. And a lot of it was because it wasn't working for my body, because my body's different than theirs. So just kind of, it's going to be a constant roller coaster until you figure out what works for you, and you just have to stick to it. And I have a problem sticking to things, so, but that's just my advice. Just don't put so much pressure on yourself if things aren't working out the way that you want to, because it's a journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey in between. Talk about skin while we're here. So there has been differences that I've noticed in my skin, even from the first year anniversary until now. There are things my skin doesn't like. My skin has become more sensitive than it used to be. So for example, I was using this Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, and I had used it before. I have. But this one time I used it, I started to get these red marks on the back of my knees, and they burned and they itched. And I was like, fuck, I think I have a rash. And then, more fun, I had a rash, not on the mons pubis or vulva, but on the thighs, like on my thighs basically, where your underwear hits is where I got the rash. So basically, really sensitive areas of the body that rarely get touched, I kept getting irritation, but they were localized rashes. They weren't from anywhere else. So I had to use creams and shit to get it all to go away. It was frustrating, but this was something that I had used before and never had a reaction with, and then this one time I did. So I have noticed that my skin has changed. I'm not trying to have hypothyroidic tunnel vision, because there are other things that could potentially cause sensitive skin. Maybe there's something in it, a dye, a paraben, a fragrance that my skin didn't like. Absolutely, very much possible. But my skin wasn't that sensitive until now, and it's very sensitive. Like, when I got my hair done, she used volume 10 bleach on my head, and it still hurt. My skin was sensitive before, but not that sensitive. So I have noticed things about my skin. They're chasing each other, sorry. I've noticed things about my skin, and I've noticed things that really work for them that I'm hopefully going to stick to for the rest of my existence. So one thing that I've noticed that really works for my skin, for my face, is a face scrub. But since I have sensitive skin, I have to use a really gentle face scrub. So the one I use is the Aveeno brightening face scrub. I don't know where my face scrub is because I can't find it, and so I must have put it somewhere weird when I was cleaning, and I'll have to find it. But so typically I'll use that sometimes every day if I'm going through a week of where my skin is just so dry that it'll just buff away all of the dead skin. But the little like sandy granules are so gentle that it doesn't tear up my skin like other like facial scrubs have. So I use that, and then I'll use another face wash after it, because sometimes after a scrub my skin can get kind of dry because, you know, is new skin underneath. So I use this Neutrogena Ultra Gentle Hydrating Cleanser, and it's dermatologist developed for even the most dry and sensitive skin. And the reason I like it and the reason I bought it is because it's fragrance free. It's also paraben free, dye free, soap free, and it's hypoallergenic. So if you have sensitive skin, here's some advice from me. Don't use anything that has fragrance in it. If you want something fragranced, get something that has essential oils, and that is essential 100% essential oils. Because fragrance should not go on your skin in the first place, especially if you have sensitive skin. So I love this. The other one I love is the CeraVe hydrating one, but the only issue I have with it is it doesn't make my skin feel clean. Usually I'd have to use that and then another face wash afterwards to make it feel clean. It always felt like it left like a moisturizing film over my face, which is great for moisturization. But if you want your face to also be clean, it just didn't work that well for me. But this one actually makes my skin feel clean. It takes away makeup, oil. It actually is a great cleanser, but it leaves my skin feeling moisturized, and it doesn't make my skin feel like it got moisture pulled out of it. Because when you have hypothyroidism, one of the fun things that happens is your skin gets dry. It gets dry and flaky, and it has a hard time maintaining moisturization. So if you're someone who deals with that, that is a great face wash. You can give it a shot. As I said before, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it doesn't mean it's not. So I would give it a shot, and it costs much less than the CeraVe one. Just saying, saving some money. And then the next thing I use is this Mario Badescu facial spray in the rose one. I love this toner because it's gentle to where it doesn't irritate my skin, but it leaves it feeling moisturized and ready for the day. So typically with this, I'll take this and a cotton round, I'll spray some on it, do the toner thing, and then wait till it soaks in, put on my moisturizer, and then I'll do another spritz of this. This is also great if you're having a panic attack, if you're stressed, having a hard time sleeping, or if it's just really hot outside. This is also great for that. I've also used it, I don't know if this is a good thing, but I've used it on a sunburn, and it's great for that, just saying. And then my moisturizer, I'll use two things occasionally. So my moisturizer that looks like it has food on it, but it doesn't. I think it's dried makeup. But right now I've been using this Honest Beauty moisturizer. It's the Deep Hydration Cream. The main ingredients are chamomile and candula, which is an amazing flower that has a lot of anti-inflammatory purposes. So it's a great vitamin, and it's in a lot of massage oils, just saying. And it's also got radish seed oil, vitamin E, vitamin A. This is really great. I know this is the old packaging because I found this in Ross, and I know they still make this. I'm still not sure if this is something that I'm going to continuously buy, but right now it works really, really well with my skin. And then sometimes I'll mix in this, the Ordinary 100% organic cold pressed Moroccan oil. Sometimes I'll mix this in if I feel like I need a deep moisturization. This is great for that, but also, this is also great for your hair. So another fun thing that comes with hypothyroidism, you don't just get dry skin. Oh no, you get dry hair and really fragile fingernails. The amount of times I've broken a nail just by barely hitting it on like a surface is ridiculous. So sometimes if my hair feels exceptionally dry that day, I'll use this on the ends of it, and this is great. And then if I just want to use this on my face by itself, absolutely great for that. And sometimes I'll use it on the cuticles or just places that I feel dry. This is really great for that. I highly recommend it just to anyone. The Ordinary makes really, really, really good stuff. And then of course, another thing that you can do is drink water. I don't drink as much water as I should, honestly. I was doing really well with water. Like, I would drink a ton of it, and my skin was doing great, and then at some point I stopped, and I don't know what happened, and I really need to get back into it, especially with everything that's happening in the world. I really need to be as healthy as possible, because I have an autoimmune disease. So, yeah. But, moving down from the face, other parts of my body get dry, especially my arms and my legs. I get dry patches on my chest and my stomach. And it's really frustrating because I don't like dry skin, especially on me. I don't like it. And it actually irritates me when my skin is dry. So I try to keep it as moisturized as possible. So 2 things that I use, I'll talk about one of them first, is this Aromatherapy Stress Relief by Bath & Body Works Eucalyptus and Spearmint with natural essential oils. I like this because it's made with essential oils, so it doesn't really irritate my skin. I mostly like this because of the eucalyptus smell, because it's really, really relaxing. So it's really nice after you get out of the shower at night before you go to bed. Put some of this on and it just really chills out the mind. And sometimes if I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack, I'll just rub some of this on my hands and it really helps chill me out. It's also extremely moisturizing, and I love the bottle too, aesthetically pleasing, but it is very moisturizing, so it's really, really nice, and a little bit goes a long way. This bottle is $13.50, so that's not, it's kind of expensive for lotion, but it's not too bad. And I just really like it because it is very stress relieving. I love eucalyptus. If I could make my entire everything smell like eucalyptus, which technically I can, I would. But my main tried and true at the moment, the one that I'm loving the most, is this Sliquid Balance Rejuvenation Botanically Infused Mandarin Basil Sensual Massage Oil. So you're probably like, Kat, why are you using massage oil as a moisturizer? Let me tell you why. Because the main ingredients in this are almond oil, coconut oil, and grapeseed oil. Those are great ingredients. All of those ingredients have anti-inflammatory purposes. Almond oil can be used as an antifungal. Coconut oil is a great moisturizer and has a lot of fatty acids and amino acids and antioxidants, and grapeseed oil also has all those things, and those are things I want on my skin as much as possible. But I also really like it because sometimes a moisturizer can be really heavy and can just kind of feel like it's clogging my pores. That one never does, and that will leave my skin moisturized for days. But I also like it because Sliquid is an amazing brand. They make bubble bath, they make body wash, they make feminine wash, massage oils, they also make lubricants, which is great, and they are typically 95% organic, and they're pH balanced, they're gluten-free, they're vegan, they're cruelty-free, they're alcohol-free, they're paraben-free, they're fragrance-free, they're really good. So if you live near an adult store that sells Sliquid, or maybe you can order it off of the internet, I really recommend it because it's a great brand, and I really love these. They have an unscented version, so if you're someone who doesn't want a scent, you can do that. But they also have one that is coconut lime, which I die for. This mandarin one, and then I can't remember the other one, but they smell really, really good. So I really do recommend this as a moisturizer. It's also a great massage oil, so you can also use it as a massage oil, but it's really nice also as a moisturizer. Okay, we talked about skin. Now let's talk about the other fun thing that I've noticed the biggest difference in. My sleeping and chronic fatigue. So what's fun about it is I have chronic fatigue, but I also have insomnia. It's currently almost midnight, and I'm not tired at all. So there's a problem with that. So sometimes it's really hard for me to get to sleep, and it's not just because of my thyroid. It's probably because of overstimulation. I'll watch my phone for a long time. I always have a movie on because I'm afraid of the dark. It's also because I'm stressed, I have anxiety, I've got a lot on my mind, stuff like that. So there are other things that play a part into the chronic fatigue, but I know that my sleeping has gotten so much worse since my thyroid. Basically, and I know I mentioned this before, my boyfriend told me once that he's noticed my sleeping is different, that I can sleep for 8+ hours, and it seems like I only slept for 2, because I'm always exhausted and I get tired quickly. And it's because I don't have as much energy as I used to, which makes me sound old, but I get tired really quickly. But a lot of the reason is because I can't sleep because of cortisol levels, which comes with stress. So, speaking of cortisol levels, I take a huge amount of vitamins. I'm like a friggin' old lady. So, speaking of cortisol levels, there it is, sorry. So basically, I just recently started taking this, but this is optimized ashwagandha extract. So basically, it's supposed to enhance mental energy and concentration. These are the vegetarian kinds. So it doesn't have any, like, I don't know if these usually have lactose in it, but some vitamins do and they fuck me up. But ashwagandha is actually supposed to be really good for your mental state. So for depression, for anxiety, for stress, and it's supposed to help reduce cortisol levels, which causes stress, which causes it so you can't sleep, which is so fun. I've recently started taking this, so I haven't really seen much of a difference yet, but I'm really excited to see if there is a difference, so that way I can continue to take it, because if this is something that can actually help me sleep, help with my stress and anxiety and depression, I'm all about it. I'm on a constant journey trying to figure those things out, and what's great about this is I can take this on an empty stomach and it doesn't make me nauseous. 2 vitamins that I love with all of my heart that have made a difference in my life is iron and B complex with B12. So I'm out of this iron, sadly, and I take slow release iron because it doesn't make my stomach hurt. But the reason I've noticed this difference is I started to know the difference with iron the fastest because I started taking it, and part of the reason that I can have chronic fatigue is because I'm iron deficient. And if you don't have enough iron, you're going to have a lot of fatigue. So I started taking it, and I also read somewhere that iron can actually help your thyroid produce and release more hormones. So I was like, if that's a fucking win, I'm gonna take it. And I noticed a difference, honestly, and this is gonna sound crazy, 2 weeks in of taking this, I started to notice a difference. And then I added B12 into the mix, and let me tell you something. This is a match made in heaven. I love this match. I've always loved B12 because it helps me stay awake and alive and alert, but this has really helped me a lot because I used to rely on coffee and caffeine, but ever since I started taking these vitamins, I don't need to drink it as often, which is great because I've been trying to kick the habit of drinking caffeinated beverages, especially coffee, because it causes inflammation, not just to the thyroid, but to my face and everywhere else of my body. So I'd like to kick the habit. Luckily, one of my best friends let me have some loose leaf tea that is caffeinated. So if I can make the switch to that, I'm cool with that. The next vitamin that I just started taking is zinc. Zinc is nice. I haven't been taking it long enough to see if it's made any difference, but I've heard it's really good for someone who does have hypothyroidism. And then a new thing that I've been trying to do, but I haven't been introducing enough in my life because I don't know how to yet, is Smooth. So the reason I found this was because of a YouTuber named Hey Paris. She did a review on this on her channel, and I'll actually link it below because it's a great review. But she was talking about how she has painful periods and that she needed to find something that helped with that, and she tried this and it's changed her life completely. But when she said hormone balance, weight management, healthy energy, better mood, egg equality and fertility, which I don't really need, and improved complexion, I was like, all right, going to the website, click, I bought it because I was so interested. I'm not supposed to drink things or eat things that have gluten. This is gluten-free. I'm lactose intolerant. This is dairy-free. I'm not supposed to eat things high in soy. This is soy-free, and there's no sugar added. So this is fucking perfect. I haven't really introduced it a lot because you're supposed to put it into your natural regime daily to see any difference. I haven't been doing that. I've been wanting to mix it in smoothies and stuff, but my blender is really terrible, so I haven't had the ability to do that. So I really want to introduce this because I do want to do a review about it to let everybody know who maybe has a hormonal imbalance or something like that. Let them know that something like this works, because if this works, I would love to make this a staple in my life because I want to find a more natural route of being able to help my thyroid than a synthetic route. That is my personal preference, and I would really love if this worked for me so I could just continuously buy it. And this is the unflavored version, so this is something that I can just mix in anything, but they also make a chocolate version. So if you'd rather just have the chocolate version and just make chocolatey drinks or something, you could also do that. It is slightly expensive in my opinion, but if it's good, it's worth it. So those are all the vitamins I take because I'm an old lady, and they actually really do help combat the chronic fatigue on some level. They don't work every single day. I don't want to be like, oh, they work perfectly every time, I feel great. That's not true. There are days where I'm so tired and exhausted that it doesn't matter. I could take the entire bottle and I still wouldn't. The entire bottle with caffeine, with coffee, and it still wouldn't make a difference. Because when you have hypothyroidism, your energy level goes down and you get tired. Like I always tell people, tired for someone who doesn't have a thyroid issue is like exhausted for someone who does. And I think people see it as an excuse. There was one time that someone asked me what I did all day, and I told them that I did nothing and that I slept all day. And you get one of two things from people. You get, oh, cool, that's cool, I wish I could have done that. Or you get, oh, which is basically like, you did nothing all day, great. But for me, as I said before, even if I sleep 8+ hours, it feels like I slept for 2. I get exhausted fast. And I don't know if it's the same with everybody that has hypothyroidism because everybody's experience is different, but I get tired. So if I can take the day to sleep and reboot, I'm gonna do that because I work really hard throughout my day. I go to work every single day. I work in retail around people, which is exhausting. And my body just gets so tired all of the time because of the chronic fatigue. And people who don't understand that, who don't know what that feels like, because that's kind of natural for people who don't understand what it's like for any sickness or any mental illness or anything. If people don't understand, they judge it. It's kind of, people just don't. And rather than take the time to understand, they just judge it sometimes. But luckily I have people in my life that aren't like that and that will actually listen to what I have to say and learn from me. And so I just told that person what I just said and then they understood it. So it's really frustrating to be looked at like that. So it also causes insomnia. So it makes it really hard for me to fall asleep. So I can be awake for all hours of the night and fall asleep randomly, or not sleep at all, and I'm fine. But there are 2 things that I will do if it's like a last resort, or if I just need to relax. If I just need something to relax me, I'll do these 2 things. So one thing that I will do, and this is something that I rarely do because I don't like it, I'll take a PM pill. This is Motrin PM. The reason I don't like taking PM pills is because I don't like feeling hungover the next day after I wake up. I don't like feeling groggy and angry because of it, because that's usually what happens. If I want to feel hungover, it's because I had a great night at a party, not because I took something to help me sleep, because it kind of defeats the purpose, because then I'm tired all day. But that's like my last resort. If I can't sleep and I've been having consecutive days of having a hard time sleeping, I'll take that. But typically what I do is I will try to convince myself that I'm tired, or I'll do something to make me tired. Like exercise or run around or, spend a whole day hating myself. But I'll try to do something that makes me tired, and sometimes I'll have to lay there and convince myself that I'm tired and that I'm going to sleep and it's time to go to bed, stuff like that. But 2 other things that I'll do is I will use my aromatherapy stress relief lotion. I'll use that all over my body, and then I'll make a cup of vanilla sleepy time tea. I really like the vanilla one because it's really, I don't usually like vanilla anything, but vanilla mixed with the chamomile and whatever the freak chamomile and the spearmint, the lemongrass is really, really, really calming and it tastes really good, and you splash a little bit of creamer in there, it's a good time. But it's really relaxing. I find tea extremely relaxing. So that's usually like if I drink tea that's caffeinated and I need to wake up, it's usually cold, because warm tea makes me chill while cold tea picks me right up. So, but I find tea really relaxing. If I'm feeling like I have a lot of anxiety, it's usually like peppermint tea. But I do feel, I don't know if it's a placebo effect, because it could be, but I do think this really helps me. It doesn't help me sleep, but it does help me relax. So, because a lot of the time the insomnia is from being so stressed and high strung that I can't relax, and this does help me relax. So if you're someone who just is really stressed out and high strung, I really recommend a sleepy time tea or a tea in general, maybe a chamomile, to help you relax, because it could not be my thyroid all of the time. It could be just because I had a hard day, or there's a lot in my mind, or I'm scared of something, or I got in a fight with someone, but this really does help. So I do recommend this, and it just tastes good. So now I want to talk about the real things about my experience of having hypothyroidism. And this is the part that makes me nervous, because I don't like talking about the deep parts of myself that are kind of hiding away in the dark, because there's a reason why they're there. Because for me, it sounds weird, but once I say it out loud, it becomes more real. And it's almost like when it stays in my head, it almost kind of isn't real in a way. But once I say it, it's real. And this is in a video, so it's going to make it more real. But one thing that comes with hypothyroidism is weight gain. So basically, I met a lady, because it seems like us thyroid people are like connected somehow. And I've met so many people who have the same condition or have had the same surgery so much since I got it done. And it's been really cool bonding with people and being able to use my experience at my job and helping people figure out what works for them. But I met her, and she was talking to me about how she loves to swim and hike and exercise, but that it was really frustrating because she lost 2 pounds in 3 months, but then she stopped working out, and in a month and a half she gained back 5. And I could see how much that hurt her. And she kept saying, oh, well, try in the laundry when I lose weight. I'll try in the laundry when I lose weight. It'll make me look good when I lose weight. And the reason that got me when she was saying that was because I hate trying on stuff now. Because in my mind, it won't look good. And I do think about that. I do think, okay, if I lose weight, this is going to look better on me. That dress is going to fit me better. Those pants are going to fit me better. This crop top will look better on my body. And she was such a cheerful person that it was difficult because I could see how much it hurt her in her eyes, but she was smiling. And I was trying to tell her, it doesn't matter what size you are. We can find you something that you'll look beautiful in, because that's what we would do. I wouldn't let her leave until she did, but she didn't want to. And it just reminded me that I've been trying to be on this self-love journey of loving my body the way it is, whatever shape it's in, and accepting that this is the shape it's in, and finding clothes that work for my body shape right now. And I used to wear clothes that were big and baggy to cover up my body, and it would actually make me look bigger. And now I'm starting to learn what actually works for my body. Like right now, I'm wearing a crop top. Can't really see it very well, but I'm wearing a crop top. And there was a time I would never wear a crop top. And so I'm on this journey, and I'm slowly achieving really good things. But to say that my self-esteem still doesn't get hit by the size that I am, would be a lie, because there are days where I can't look at myself in the mirror because I'll be sad, because I feel like I can't be pretty or I can't be sexy. So when, like, my boyfriend calls me sexy, I don't believe it. Which is so weird, because when women say that to me at work, I don't understand, because they're beautiful. When I'm seeing them is so beautiful, and it doesn't matter what size you are, because a lot of the times it's not your body, it's the clothing. And I know that. Like, I know that. But when it's yourself, it's harder to accept that advice than when you're telling someone else. And I feel like I'm having a hard time because it's daunting knowing that it's going to be really hard for me to potentially lose weight. And for someone who has a fear of failure and imperfection, and not in other people's eyes, I could give two fucks about someone else. It's failure and perfection in my own eyes, and I set so much expectation for myself, and I know that I'm never going to reach that, but when I don't reach it, I just hate myself even more. And that makes it harder to want to work out, because all I think about is, well, what's the point? Because it's going to take you 3 months to lose 2 pounds. And then you're going to gain it back the moment that you stop. And it sucks. It's one of the really sucky parts about having an underactive thyroid. And technically, I don't want to, I mean, I want to lose weight, but that's not necessarily why I want to work out. I want to work out to be healthy, because I should work out to be healthy. And I want to work out so I can eat a taco and not feel bad about myself every time I do. And I want to work out to feel good about myself, because I don't. And I haven't for a long time. I mean, I've always been sad about myself and my weight. I've always felt awful about my weight, and it's just worse now because it's harder to deal with. And finding motivation is hard, especially when you have chronic fatigue and insomnia and really bad depression and anxiety. It's really hard to move through those things. It's a lot, and I don't really see people talk about that. You know? Like, I see these people who have the same condition, and they're talking about exercising and losing weight, and this is so much fun, and it's so easy, and it's so easy to get started, and they're fucking ripped, and they're tiny, and I'm like, why can't I do that? And that's why I usually say to not compare yourself to them, because everybody's journey is different, and the way that they do things is going to be different. And it's just like, you don't see them talk about the turmoil of having to get to the point that they're at now. Because before they were at there now, there was a struggle, and it was hard, and it was painful. And I don't see enough people talk about the hard parts. And I know it's because people don't want to bring in the negative. They want people to feel positive. But at the same time, people need to know that there are negative sides so they don't feel wrong about feeling that way. Because if you keep sugarcoating shit and then someone feels like ass about something, they're going to feel wrong. And nobody should feel wrong about that. It's okay to be sad and okay to have issues, as long as you don't let them defeat you and you try to work through them, which is very hard, believe me, I know that. But I just feel like if you're going to put yourself out there and talk about something in your life like that, it should be part of your responsibility to talk about all of the real parts and not just the really positive parts, but the other parts. And the weight part of all of this has definitely been one of the hardest parts for me. because I'm already someone that has low self-esteem. And it's just gotten worse. And luckily, I have really amazing friends. They're so supportive. And I have an amazing boyfriend who loves me and makes me feel beautiful and sexy. And that is something that is worth trying not to like absolutely cry. But that is something that's worth its weight in gold. Because when you feel like shit about yourself, it's nice to have people who don't feel that way about you, because it kind of helps you feel good about yourself, if that makes any sense. And God, the sleeping, oh, it's so frustrating when all you want to do is sleep, but you can't. And you're always tired. And I know that's partly why I get so emotional so fast, because I'm always exhausted. It's like my body's so exhausted that it can't combat the emotions. And I'm also a Scorpio, so I'm full of emotions, so there's that too. I want to be as honest and real. And I know so many people say that on their YouTube channels. It's disgusting, but I do. I want to be as honest and real as possible. I want to answer questions that most people wouldn't answer on the internet because it's too scandalous and stuff like that, which granted, I talk about my job all the time, and my job is pretty scandalous. But I want to be honest, and I want to talk about real things, and I want people to know that they can ask me real things and I'll actually answer them. And I don't know. I just feel like it's just, I don't know. I've completely lost my train of thought. And with everything that's happening now, people need something to hold on to. People need something good and happy and honest and real, because there's so much shit happening right now that we don't know what the fuck is going on. Which that's a whole other thing to talk about, but we don't have time because this video is already gonna be long as hell. But basically the past 2 years has been a lot. It has. Not just thyroid-wise, but just life-wise in general. I've always been here for a year, and that's insane to me. And I'm sure I'll do a video about that, and relearning my body, and relearning the new normal, and how things are so different, and they change so much. My TSH levels change, and I don't know about my T4 or my T3s because I don't ask about them, and that's probably something I should ask about the next time I get a blood test. But as I said in the beginning, it's a journey. It's not a fast journey by any means. It is a patient waiting game journey, and you can't push yourself too much, and you have to accept that someone else's journey is different than yours, and that's okay. And that if you find something that works for you and then you fall off that wagon, that's okay too. It's gonna take a long time before you find what works for you perfectly. And even then, I don't think anything's ever gonna work for anyone absolutely perfectly. There's always going to be bumps in the road. And I'm not just saying that for people watching this, I'm saying that for myself. Because maybe after kind of saying some of the things I did, because I've never talked about my self-esteem issues to anyone else, maybe after saying it, it'll help me deal with it better. And that's a good thing. And I'm sure the next coming years will be fine. And whatever happens, happens with all the chaos that's ensuing right now. You never know what could happen. And I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to actually cut it off now before it gets really long because I could talk even more. So thank you for joining me in this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're someone who has hormonal imbalances or mental illness or anxiety, depression, or you just want to talk or give any advice, I'm open to advice. Absolutely. I'm always on the journey to make my life a little easier. Please share that. And if you want to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be told whenever I post. I try to post every Monday. And yeah, and I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. Please stay safe out there because shit's getting crazy. And just be careful. And I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. And this is Kat signing off. Bye. I forgot to take a clip of my scar. So this is my scar right here. It's actually pretty faded and really like well done. And I'm really surprised about how faded it is, and it doesn't look like really irritated or really noticeable. People don't really notice it very much until I point it out. So my doctor did really well.